New at 5, local school board elections being moved to the November general elections ballot is becoming more of a possibility. Legislation that would do exactly that is moving forward quickly at the State House.
Fox 23's Devin Lyon heard from a local representative who says school board elections need higher voter turnout. He joins us live with how this change could solve that problem.
That's right. I spoke with Representative Chris Banning, who has a bill on this exact election change already moving through House committee at the state capitol. He believes that moving school board elections to the general election ballot in November would increase voter turnout, and therefore he believes would help them better represent the communities that these school boards serve.
But it moves school board elections, which there's 2,366 school board members, moves those elections to our primary, the legislative primary, and if there's a runoff, it would go to our general.
State Representative Chris Banning is the author of House Bill 1151. It focuses on moving school board elections to the November general election every 4 years. It does not include bond elections.
So roughly 10% of our school elections are bond elections. Now, bond elections are very sporadic, very complex, so I left those to the side.
Voter turnout is the primary reason driving this bill. The state average for school board election turnout is 6%, but some districts see it as low as 1%.
That is extremely low. We should all be concerned about that kind of voter turnout. We have to increase this voter turnout to have a more accurate representation of our community standards.
We can see this reflected in some of the larger districts in Green Country. Broken Arrow Public Schools had just over 1,300 voters turn out for their school board elections last week. When they had a vote on the November general election ballot, there was nearly 4 times as many voters, over 4,700.
So this has been a concern for decades. Well, over a decade. And why hasn't it been addressed? Why can't we get it addressed? This low voter turnout is a concern, and we're just trying to, we need to get it fixed. And I think everybody in the Capitol knows it's low. We just need to get it fixed.
It did receive a bit of debate when it was last heard in committee earlier this month.
House Bill 1151 makes elections more confusing and voting lines longer. This bill doesn't solve any real problems. It just causes more strife for the servants who serve on our boards.
My colleague mentioned that it doesn't solve real problems. This is a real problem. We have a low voter turnout. That is a real problem in the state of Oklahoma.
This bill will have to pass at the House floor before being handed over to the state Senate. Banning says if it does pass, it could save the state millions. However, State Representative Mickey Dollins, who you just heard a little bit back and forth from, is saying the exact opposite. He says if it passes, it'd be trading one problem for several others. I'll bring you more of his concerns on this bill for you on Fox 23 News at 6. Live in the newsroom, covering news that matters, Devin Lyon, Fox 23 News.
This bill would place the elections on the next legislative election for the House, which is November 2026. It would set all school board member terms to 4 years. You can read the full bill for yourself in this story on fox23.com.